Good morning, everybody. It's Hard Thursday. And quickly talk about this. If you want to do a puzzle on paper and if you want to be uber organized and see how efficiently you can how quickly you can complete a suDOku puzzle, here's a couple tips for you. First things, before you start completing any number, simply add up using this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 system. I don't know what that's called, so I'll call it that, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 system. So count the number of numbers 1 through 9. You'd write the numbers first, then you'd count up how many numbers the puzzle gives you before you begin. For example, you just simply count the number of 6s. In this case, there were 6. And then as you add a number, you add to this. So it keeps a tally as you're playing. The second thing, or another tip, is as you complete a row, obviously you add the numbers up, or not add them, but simply count them off to make sure all 9 are there. And then you put a check mark on the right-hand side. So in this case, 2 of them are completed thus far. And then you do the same thing with the columns of cells. You put a check mark underneath. There are 2 that are completed here after checking that all 9 numbers are accounted for in that completed cell. And then you do the same thing with the 9 boxes. Every time you complete a box, you count it up to make sure all of the 9 numbers are accounted for only once. And you put a little mark in the top corner as we've done here in this example. So there are 2 rows completed, there are 2 columns completed, and there are 3 of the boxes completed. And then you see the status of the numbers. 2 of the numbers are completed, actually 3. We haven't indicated that yet with the number 1, which you guys have been watching with us. And the number 1, you know, we have a little game within the game when it involves the number 1. And then here shows the completed puzzle. So all 9 of the rows have been counted and are completed. All 9 of the columns are counted and completed. All 9 of the boxes are counted and completed. And of course, all 9 of the numbers are accounted for in all of the directions. So, today is Hard Thursday. And especially those of you that check out the secret item surprise that look on the Canadian Amazon site, which is .ca, amazon.ca. We've hit, I don't know if it's the top, but that item is worth over, or sells for, I should say. The value is dependent on the purchaser and the consumer, but the cost is over $10,000. Okay, let's get going with the puzzle. We got the 1. The puzzle took the 1 away from us. They didn't give us the 1 anywhere in the center or middle column of cells of the entire puzzle. So that frustrates us. So there are only 2 of the 9 ones that are accounted for before the puzzle begins. So this time we're going to look as we normally do for volume. There's only 2 missing. So they've provided 7 of the numbers in the middle column or center column of cells. So let's see what the other 2 are missing. That's what I mean by looking for volume. 1, 2, 3, 4 is missing. Okay, and then 5 and 6, 7. 4 and 7 are missing. 7 can't be here. Therefore, the 7 must be there, and therefore the 4 must be there. That wasn't that hard. Okay, 4 on this left column of boxes. The 4 is on the left, the 4 is in the middle, and the 4 therefore needs to be on the right. So now we can make a note here that as far as the bottom right box, the 4 can either be, boy, this is not a very left-handed suDOku, so that Brussels sprouts, that's her stage name, so that her papa can decide or learn her perspective about left-handedness. And then the Microsoft Surface Pro 3, by design, they're so sophisticated, they synced this pen for a right-hander, not for a left-hander. So it further challenges, it increases my need for discipline and concentration at an early hour. It's not even 4:15 a.m. Pacific time yet. How about the number 8? So, looking at this top row of cells within the middle row of boxes, the number 8 is missing. And it would be prime here with regard to this right-hand column of boxes because we got an 8 on the right and an 8 on the left. But we cannot know that the 8 won't be here, making it so that the 8 could be here as well. We know it cannot be here at the bottom, but we don't have enough information. Okay, so 8. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. 3 is also missing. 3 cannot be there. So the 8 has to be here. And therefore, 3, we have the notes selected. So 3 has to be there, and the 8 needs to be there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Volume. There's only 2 now missing here. We got a 1 missing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have an 8 missing. So 1 and 8 can go in either place. We know that the 1 needs to be down here, therefore, but we don't know where. So even though there are 3 missing in this bottom row within the middle row of boxes, let's see if we can figure out what they are. 4 looks to be missing, and we don't have information about 4 for any one of those 3 empty cells. 9, 8, 7, 6. What about 6? 6 cannot be there, so therefore it needs to be here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, and 1. So we're going to do notes here, which means we'll be able to solve for the center cell in that right box. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is the missing number. You know, this concept about doing the puzzles virtually every morning, or about every day, those 3 key words. Let me tell you a quick story. I don't know how quick it is because me and multitasking, that's only a concept. It doesn't mean I've arrived. It's an area for improvement. But we never met our grandmother on our father's side, so I guess it would be our paternal grandmother. Never met her. So my only significant relative, his only significant female relative in the U.S. was my father's first cousin. So my mom coined her Grandma Marguerite. So that replaced the grandma on our father's side, and that we never met. And she was quite a pioneer and had a bunch of guts. And I'll tell you about that on another day. But anyway, our Grandma Marguerite was really a significant, both of my quote-unquote grandmothers, my mother's mother and my father's mother, my father's first cousin, Grandma Marguerite, were really important people. I would say many years into my adulthood, they were the 2 most important women in my lives, beyond my mother, of course. And she was a great lady. So anyway, we called her Grandma Marguerite, and she would call my mother about every day, just about every day. And it would be usually a less than 10-minute call, just checking in. And she would call my mother Kid. Hey, Kid. And it was fantastic. I remember that to this day. She would call my mom virtually every day just to check in. And Grandpa Ray, her husband, was one of the last farmers in Los Angeles City proper. He farmed garbanzo beans in property right near the LA airport. Chickpeas. He farmed them, and they did a story about him on TV one night about being the last farmer in LA. It was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Okay. Now, let's get back to here. The 3 cannot be here. The 3 cannot be here. Therefore, the 3 has to be here. With regard to this middle column of 3 cells in the top left box, therefore, the 3 has to be here. And we've got the 3 on the top. We got the 3 in the middle. So the 3 needs to be there. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. So now, the 3 in the center box needs to be there by virtue of the 3 here. And therefore, the 4 goes here. And therefore, the 4 in this top box goes here. And the 4 in the top right box, the 4 goes here. And let's look at this far right column of cells. 9, 8, 7. 6 is missing. Can't be there. 6 can be there and there. 6, 5, 4, 3. How about 2 and 1? 2 and 1. So 1, 2, and 6 are in those 3 right there, but we don't know which. 1, 2, and 6. 1, 2, and 6. Speaking of 1, let's see, I could be wrong on it. Yes, this number 1 makes it so 1 has to be here or here. We don't know which, but therefore that tells us that that must be 1, and therefore this must be 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Left box is solved for. Number 8. Top left box, 8 is solved for. The number 8 is totally solved for on the puzzle. You'll notice down here. The number 3 only has 1 left, so we ought to be able to solve for it. So 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. The final 3 in the puzzle needs to be in that bottom right-hand box in its left cell. Okay. Hope you see how we got our language down. Hope it's easy to direct your attention a la chess. Similar system in chess. This system's simpler, therefore better. Chess is more of a challenge because the different pieces have different maneuverabilities. 9, 8, 7, 6, and 2 are missing. 6 cannot be here, therefore 6 needs to be here. 2 needs to be here. We're now down to 5 2s remaining on the puzzle. Seemed like there were fewer, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Well, 9 can't be here, so therefore this has to be 2, and this has to be 9. Top left box is solved for. 9, 8, 7, 6. 6 and 6. And let's see, 6, 6, 6. 6 can be in either of those two. All right, we're going to do, we shouldn't, this is gutless and lazy. We're going to make our final notes. 6 and 6. Our final notes could have probably been better spent, but so be it. 10 years from now, we'll forget all about it. What about these 3 on this left-handmost column of cells in the middle column of boxes? 9 is missing. Well, look, it can't be here, and it can't be here. Therefore, we have another pair of 9s. By the way, we've actually solved for 9, this bottom puzzle. Therefore, we've solved for 6. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, what were we looking at? 9. So 9 has to be here. 9, 8, 7. So 7 has to be here. Therefore, that's a 1. All right, so these 2, bottom left box, bottom box, each have 2 remaining. Let's solve for both of those. Then we'll have effectively solved for the left hand and the middle column of boxes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, that doesn't look good. Let's see, 9, 8, 7. Oh, man. So look at 7, bottom right box is here. While we're at it, therefore, 4 is solved for in that bottom right box. By the way, we're down to 1, 4. We know that that 1, 4 would go right there. So now we've solved for the number 4. Plus, since we were there, we can add the number 1, solving for the right box. And 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh boy. Still, aha, look at this. This 1 is centrally located. So the 1 has to be there or there, meaning it cannot be there. So the 1 is there. Therefore, the 2 is there. Coming back to the bottom right box, because of that 2 being where it is and the 4 empty cells here, the 2 must only be there. All right, so now we got the 2 and the 2, and then we got 2 possibilities for the 2 here, but it cannot be in that one. So therefore, in the top right-most cell of the entire puzzle, or in the top right box, the top right cell, is 2. So we can't solve for 1. Oh, hold on a second. 1. So the 1 has to be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Therefore, this is 6. Therefore, this is 1. And therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be the last piece to this puzzle. Please check out the different Amazon items that we have. We have the links that'll take you straight to their pages. If nothing else, check them out. And we always suggest shopping Amazon. They are in the process of taking over online retail. If you don't believe they have already, they're certainly in the process. And it's all about distribution channel. It's amazing. Oh, before we go, I wanted to share some sayings with you. First of all, I made a little note here. It's on my whiteboard behind me, just reminding us that I'm going to use her stage name, but Papa loves his Brussels sprouts. And then I got Brussels sprouts' Papa sign, Brussels sprouts' Papa underneath. And then I have another little statement of motivation for myself and consideration for anybody else, that it's a simple 6 or 7 or 8 words, but one of them is fit blank, stands for fill in the blank, fit blank. So you have a blank there, and it starts off with the word my, and then you have a blank, deserves better from me. So I complete that by saying my Brussels sprouts deserves better from me. It's always pushing myself in motivation. Another quote It's really vital. I think it's vital in everybody's lives. I know I think a lot about Brussels sprouts' life. Here, I'll be moving here so you know that I'm still alive. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. And that quote is attributed to Robert Holden. I think it's a former actor. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. And then finally, one that I've used and reused and I will continue to use. I think it's a great one. I heard it many, many years ago. And then lately, I've heard it on YouTube clips chronicling Warren Buffett, his life, and so forth. And the quote goes like this: "The chains of habit are too light to be felt before they become too heavy to be broken." I hope you have a great day. Hope to see you tomorrow for Expert Friday.